This is a diabolical virus to try to deal with. What concerns me most is that we're still in the middle of it.
As the director of the National Institutes of Health, Dr. Francis Collins helps lead America's response to the coronavirus pandemic.
Well, I am a physician. I'm also a follower of Jesus, and I think we are called upon to look at what are the facts of the matter and then with compassion to try to see what we can do to help.
In 2003, Collins made headlines in leading the Human Genome Project, mapping and sequencing DNA. His best-selling book, The Language of God, described his conversion to Christianity from atheism. He later started the BioLogos Foundation, which leads discussions on the relationship between faith and science.
Surveys would say something like 40% of working scientists believe in God, and not just a vague idea of God, but a God who actually answers prayer.
On the coronavirus front, Collins predicts a vaccine will be available by December. It would go first to those at high risk, then the rest of the country by spring. 1 in 5 Americans, however, say they won't take it.
Well, I hope they would step back from what's going on in terms of a lot of conspiracy theories and social media things that are going on and say, okay, let's look at the facts here. God gave us a brain to think about these things and to try to sort through what the evidence is. When the vaccines get tested, we will be very transparent about what we've learned about their safety and their efficacy, that is, their ability to prevent disease.
Getting the truth is important to Collins. Get this, he and his associates are currently reviewing a jaw-dropping 400 unproven theories for treatments or cures submitted by doctors and scientists.
One of my big goals in the last 3 months has been to try to prioritize, with help from all the smart minds in both industry and in academia and in government, of those 400, which are the ones that most need a rigorous test, so we'll find out whether they work or not. A lot of those clinical trials are now getting underway. We will know a lot more about this in the next couple of months.
While reviewing the astounding number of unproven treatments, Collins highlights only 3 which have successfully endured the most rigorous testing: the antiviral remdesivir, the common steroid dexamethasone, and blood from survivors known as convalescent plasma. That blood contains antibodies that fight off COVID-19 when a person is exposed to the virus.
And we could go even further than that and actually purify the antibodies from people who have survived, so-called monoclonal antibodies. And those are about to get tested in just the next few weeks to see whether they also provide life-saving benefits.
In the meantime, Collins advises everyone, even those who seem okay, to practice social distancing, avoid indoor crowds, wash hands frequently, and wear a mask.
And certainly, most of you who are listening are Christians. Isn't this what we're called to do what we can to help those who are most vulnerable?
And adds this to anyone who might minimize the danger posed by this virus.
Many people do manage to get this disease and do pretty well. Some don't even know they have it. But for those who do get severe illness, who end up in the hospital, end up on ventilators, end up dying, this is a very serious plague. And for anybody to try to downgrade that, who hasn't actually walked the halls of a hospital and seen what this disease is doing, then really do step back from any kind of political persuasions. And, politics and medicine really don't mix very well together. We ought to be careful when we see that happening.
Collins remains hopeful and says God is working in this pandemic, not just in the laboratory, but in the hearts of people who, for the first time, are searching for the meaning of life. Lori Johnson, CBN News.